In today's video, we don't want to teach you a trick. I don't want you as a fighter to be a collection of tricks. We're going to talk about principles and guiding tactics so that you can take accountability for having your own unique style and succeed when you fight. Like I said in the intro, one of the things that really grinds my gears about the boxing landscape online is that you have lots of coaches and lots of channels that teach tricks. They teach you, oh, you throw your jab and then you step to your left and you throw your hook. Cool, that's a nice trick to know, a good sequence to practice, I guess, but without the context, without the principles of why this succeeds and when to use it, it's valueless. It's just a trick floating in space. And when you fight guys that have a lot of tricks but don't have fundamentals, you can pressure them and you can get an easy win. I don't want anybody winning easily against any of my subscribers, so today we're going to talk about the most dangerous distance in boxing, the middle distance, and the principles that you can use to succeed there. There are three ranges in boxing: the outside, the middle distance, and the inside. On the outside, you're safe because you're outside of range. You have to step in to do anything. On the inside, you're safe because you're physically in contact with your opponent. You have to create space to do anything. The middle distance is dangerous because it's a shooting gallery. You are in the pocket, you are in an exchange, you are in punch range, and you're not in a safe space. You're in the shit. You're in the water with the sharks. I'm talking way too much. I'm just continuing to ramble. You're firemen out there. You go towards the fire. All right, okay. The middle distance is the most dangerous distance because you're in the pocket. You're in an exchange. You're in punch range. You're not in a safe place. Now, it's important to remember that even though you might do the work on the outside or in the inside to set somebody up for a big finish, all fights are won and lost in the middle distance. So you must develop proficiency and comfort there. How do you do this? The guiding tactics that I give to my boxers to steer them to have success in the middle distance, I say you should be moving laterally, you should be attacking in combination, and you should be layering in your defense. And if you do all of these things, that's going to vastly improve your success at this dangerous distance. Now, different boxers with different styles are gonna value these principles differently. You're gonna have fighters that really lead with layering in their defense, that lead with attacking in combination, that highly value that lateral movement. One of these three things above all the others. Now, this is what creates three very distinct styles of middle distance fighter. You have people who value layering in their defense, and I would call these high guard pressure fighters. You have people who value attacking aggressively in combination, and I would call these aggressive counterpunchers. And you have people who value their lateral movement, and I would call these guys a bullying archetype, and we're going to talk about the nuance and show some examples of each of these styles of middle distance fighter. The first style we're going to talk about is the style that values layering in your defense. I usually refer to these guys as high guard pressure fighters. They're moving in behind that high guard, they're getting their opponent to waste shots on their guard, and they're hunting for a moment to turn the tables so they can attack aggressively. If your number one value in the middle distance is moving in with this high guard, is layering in that defense, then the secondary principle that you should be paying attention to is attacking viciously in combination. This style almost plays out like a game of red light, green light, where you're moving in, and when it's your turn to attack, your opponent must absolutely know that they can't punch with you. You're the one attacking, they've got to exit, they've got to defend, but they're not punching with you. You must attack with aggression and conviction to make this style work. Now, a lot of your downtime with this style is pressuring in behind that high guard. There are many examples of people with this style. You look at somebody like Arthur Abraham, somebody like Dariusz Michalewski, somebody like Winky Wright are some good examples. Joshua Clottey is another great example. Something that's important to remember with this style, of all of these three styles, I believe that this style requires the most strength. You need strong arms to absorb all that force on your guard and to quickly attack in tight spaces with power. And you need strong legs to absorb this force through your frame so it doesn't rattle around in your head, and so that you can hold your ground as you pressure somebody down. I love Subriel Matias. Subriel Matias is one of my favorite fighters, but you can see that even when he uses that high guard, he doesn't have the leg strength to hold his ground, and he ends up having to fall backwards and give ground. And when he runs into guys who are really good movers like Paro, then he struggles making this style work at the highest levels of the sport. Try to avoid those pitfalls. Our second style of middle distance fighting is somebody who values that combination punching. So again, of the three things that you want to focus on, you want to focus on lateral movement, you want to focus on combination punching, and you want to focus on layering in your defense. Examples of fighters who focus on this combination punching would be somebody like Triple G or somebody like Juan Manuel Marquez. These guys are generally categorized by sitting at the edge of their opponent's range. I always say straight punch range or straight arm range. Something I've said in a lot of my videos before. How do you defend a straight punch? Anything. A straight punch doesn't own a lane or own a level the way that an uppercut or a hook does. You can get left or right of it, away from it, you can get under it, you can obstruct it. It's more important that you understand the timing of when that attack is coming than any particular defense that you select. A lot of these fighters will use a nice relaxed third guard, or they'll use a peekaboo guard, is also very common. Now, they're not out of range. I say they are at the end of a straight punch, because this simplifies their defense, but it also baits that shot for them to counter. If you're gonna have this style, you need to really learn to slip it and rip it. You're throwing that first simultaneous counter, whether you're slipping to your open side and throwing your lead hand, or whether you're slipping to your closed side and throwing your rear hand, or whether you're ducking as you attack, you need to attack with your opponent. Now, if your number one priority is to aggressively attack in combination, your secondary priority should be to make sure that you are moving laterally. Because both those hands are away from your face attacking, you need to be moving your feet while you are aggressively counterpunching. If you look at Juan Manuel Marquez, he does this spectacularly well. Anytime he slips it and rips it with one of those counter shots, he is always marching his feet either to his left or to his right to ensure that he's not just there trading on the line with an opponent. This is a really tough style to master, and keep it simple when you're starting. Practice stepping as you slip and punch, and then continuing those marching drills. I have those marching drills in many other videos. You want to make sure that you have your punching side foot down so that you can lever against the ground and make good, strong, authoritative contact. Our final style is a style that focuses on that lateral movement. Now, if you're focusing on that lateral movement, the secondary principle that you should be paying attention to is layering in your defense. Because as you're moving laterally, whether it's lanes or angles or short angles, whether you're being physical, you need to make sure that you're layering in your defense so you don't run into a shot. You're trying to trick your opponent to chase you and run into the shot. Live by the sword, die by the sword. Make sure you're taking precautions to keep yourself safe and keep yourself alive in there. Now, I refer to this lateral moving style as a bullying style, and I think it's the most interesting of these styles, and I also think it's the hardest to master. I'm working hard on it myself. Now, some good examples of guys that have this style would be guys like George Foreman or James Toney or Jersey Joe Wolcott. Now, you might look at these three guys and you can say, well, it's weird that you listed so many guys that have slow feet. You know, you wouldn't look at George Foreman or James Toney and immediately think lateral movement, immediately think footwork. But it's not about being fast, it's about being first. It's about leading that dance. If you have very slow feet, you're not gonna be able to keep up with somebody if you're letting them lead. You need to make sure that you're the one taking the initiative and they're the one dancing to your tune here. Now, this style, whether it's very slippery like Tony, kind of playing like a nina boo boo, you can't hit me game, or whether it's true physical bullying like George Foreman, where you're keeping somebody in a bad position where they are not threatening to you, it's all about the bullying, the movement. You may notice that these guys have excellent defensive habits. When we talk about layering in that defense, Tony's head is pinched, is hidden in that tight half guard, and George Foreman has that spectacular cross guard that insulates himself defensively, and Jersey Joe Wolcott's the same way. He can do a little bit of everything, a true defensive wizard, using both of his shoulders, his palms, his forearms, his elbows in that classic old school style. If the most important thing is your lateral movement, and the second most important thing is you layering in your defense, the third most important thing is that combination punching. Now, with this bullying style, this combination punching gets kind of funny. A lot of times, guys aren't combination punching. They take an open side angle where somebody else would throw a 3-6. What they frequently do is they'll throw a 3 and then they'll use that second shot as a frame to make sure they maintain this strong position where they're offline or continue to off-balance their opponent. Again, this leans into that bullying style, this why you hitting yourself kind of aggressive psychological style. To quote George Benton, he has a wonderful quote about the Philly style of boxing where he says, "You make your opponent work hard at failing to hit you and thus break him psychologically." That plays in perfectly to this style that focuses on the lateral movement. When I talk to my team and I show them these principles and these 3 styles, every young aggressive man thinks he's the bullying style. But here's something that's important to remember. I've been coaching for over 10 years now. I've been boxing. This is my 25th year that I've been boxing. I've had just about 50 fights if you include my junior fights, my MMA fights and all that jazz. And if you want to be an inside fighter, if you want to be this bullying style fighter, if you want to be the aggressive counterpunching style, you usually have to learn to be the high guard pressure fighter first. This seems to be a bottleneck, a pass gate in people's development. If you can't learn just to pressure somebody with the right ring position, work them to the ropes, layering in your defense behind your high guard, and then picking the right moment for you to attack, you're really gonna struggle with more complex styles of boxing, like being the aggressive counterpuncher or like being the bully, somebody who focuses on that lateral movement. Now, there are good examples of people that have styles that incorporate all of these things. You look at somebody like Lomachenko. Lomachenko is obviously a combination puncher and that lateral movement. You look at somebody like Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson is obviously has that lateral movement down, and then he's that aggressive counterpunching style. And who knows what kind of fighter you'll be. All the examples that I've listed today are very, very different types of fighters, but they're all extremely successful in the middle distance. And as I said, the middle distance is where fights are won. This is where the damage is done. This is where the knockout is landed. So who knows what type of style you'll develop, but if you learn to manage these 3 things, moving laterally, layering in that defense, punching in combination, and maybe you find that one of them really speaks to you and you want to focus on making that your strength, then you will surely succeed when you fight.